Hello, Derek here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. When doing a touch-up on a portrait, one of the first things I do before I do any skin retouching is get rid of any flyaway hairs. So right at the outset, I would identify what I want to do. And if we have a look, there's some hairs here in the sort of chest, neck area. They're actually not too bad. I would possibly leave them, but we'll get rid of some of them. And round the outside of the hairline is all these flyaway hairs. Again, some of them would leave, some would get rid of. If you take it in far too tight, it looks unnatural. But ones that encroach into the face area, these ones I would always try and get rid of. Up here, possibly not so much. Looks quite natural to have, you know, some hair up there. And possibly these ones here at the side. So this would just be stage one of any touch up. So the first thing we do, I'll get an empty layer, and my tool of choice, or rather I've got two tools I use here. It'll be either the healing brush tool or the spot healing tool. Let's use the spot healing brush tool first. And for ones here, like this one here, essentially the spot healing, all you want to do is paint over it. It's ideal for spots like something like that, and it just works. It kind of works, it walks round about it, and it matches in the texture of the skin, etc. So you don't have to try and do this in one long swoop. But basically what you want is to have your brush head slightly bigger than what your the hair you're trying to get rid of. I've got a pressure sensitive pen and tablet here, so my brush is probably bigger than it needs to be. But again, you don't have to be too accurate with it. It will do a reasonably good job. And it works on contrast. So sometimes you're having to go over 2 or 3 times because it's not found that there's enough contrast there. But you can usually go back over it again and again and you'll get rid of it. I have a kind of rule, I only try 3 times. If it's not removed it 3 times, leave it, or it'll start damaging the pixels in your image. You see there's just a little bit distortion in this image, these pixels here, but you know what, it's a very small area of the face. You're only doing it the width of a hair, so it's not that bad. And you can do it for anything, freckles, spots. I always try and leave freckles, try and never ever take freckles away. If somebody's born with them, they're not going to look right if you all of a sudden present a picture with no freckles. And it's really just a personal taste how far in you want to go with these. I think I'll leave that one, it's quite thick. And just 1 or 2 here. Some of these are actually eyelash, just had a wax on our eyelashes, so we'll get rid of some of these. But our main sort of concentration is the bigger hairs like these ones here. And you just brush over it. Try not to paint if you can help, but sometimes it's better just to paint up and down, up and down. And as I say, Photoshop just works fantastic at this. So we'll just get rid of some of these. What you have to remember, if you're taking a hair off, take the right part of the hair off. Like this hair goes from here to here, so if I take just this part off, it's going to look quite odd that there's half a hair still left on the face. So start from the bottom, work your way in towards the root of the hair, and just decide how far in you want to go. Strange noises, my TV's got playing in the background here, so you might be hearing some odd noise. So just keep going. The other thing you've got to watch with this tool, if you overdo it and overdo it the same area over and over again, it'll eventually turn the pixels into mush. So at this area here, there's just far too many hairs to even think about getting rid of them all. And the way this tool works, it looks at what's round about the area you're painting over, and it tries to fill in there. So if I was to try and do it over here, like this wee bit here for instance, it's going to look round about, and directly round about that is more hair, so it's going to just have an issue in trying to find skin, if you like. Right, from here I was having a little issue there, but it's turned out not too bad. Again, you're not wanting to go all the way in, taking all the hairs, it just looks silly. Okay, so now we get to a bit here and I think, you know what, this brush is just not doing it, so let's go into this tool here and we'll go to the next one down. It's the healing brush tool. And this one's slightly different. Here you take a sample of the good area that you want to copy from and just paint over the bad area. And again, this does a good job, but it's kind of copying, so if you copy a hair over, it'll not repair it so much. And if you do big areas with this, it can look quite mushy as well. So if you can try and keep it to small-ish areas. And what this is doing is going to take the texture from here and the colour from round about where I'm painting, and it's going to try and match it in. And it does a pretty good job. But again, I try and keep this tool for just small-ish areas because it can overdo it. So let me see how that's looking. It's not too bad. And that's fine. So we'll go back in again. There was a couple hairs further down on the face, down here. Again, we can try painting them using the same brush, the healing brush tool. Take a sample and just paint in. And again, take a sample and paint in. And there you go. And you can see, even we can even go into the eyeball here. I'm really close in here. We're 400% here, so these would be almost invisible if you weren't 400%. But you've got a couple of eyelashes here. So again, I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush, and we've changed tools now. We're going back to the spot healing brush tool, and we're just going to try and paint these couple of eyelashes away. And sometimes it will get out its first time, other times it won't. So say give it the 3 sort of stroke, and if it doesn't do it in 3 strokes, then just undo. But these went not too bad. And just a little bit down here, and that looks not too bad. Again, the eye, I wouldn't be touching that up right here, right now. And there's another wee bit there. We would come back and do the eye at a different bit. So that's how you get rid of the hairs on the face. Just choose between the healing brush tool and the spot healing brush tool. Spot healing brush tool, you don't need to sample, and the healing brush tool, you need to take a sample and then just paint over the area you want to heal. Now, for the outside of the hairline, because I've got quite a nondescript background here, we're just going to use a paintbrush, just your regular paintbrush. We'll make a selection, use a pen tool, and we'll just get rid of that. Some of these ones here, again, we'll try healing these up a little bit. Back up here, let's see, let's use the healing brush tool again. it's in an area that's not quite as important to be sharp, like the face. So we'll just try and paint these away. And you can see it makes a really good job of it. But then all of a sudden it'll get confused and it'll make a little splodge rather than taking the sort of hair away. Again, you're not going to take every single one of these out, and if you did try, you would probably just make a mess and damage a lot of the pixels in the process. So take some of them away. And you'll see what I was talking about there. I'm taking a sample from halfway up a hair and start painting from halfway up a hair. It's going to look odd if I've just got that half hair left hanging there. Get rid of some of these. And you could get rid of most of these, but we'll stop at that. You'll be bored. So that's how you do it. We'll take rid of one or two over here. So you just take a sample with this one sample here and paint away. And take a little sample from there and paint away. And the reason why you keep sampling is because light changes and light fall off and shadow, etc, etc. So I'm actually going to undo that one because see, we're just getting too close to that and it's confusing it a little bit, so it's making it a little bit milky. It doesn't know what it's doing. Yep, so keep sampling. The light changes, the shadow changes, etc. So try and keep it looking real. And I think that'll do. Because I'm going to take some of these hairs off on the outside, I'm going to take some of these ones off just here, just the top one or two. So I'm not going to be left with that sort of hanging half a hair. Okay, that'll do fine, just a little bit there. Right, okay. So there you go, we've took quite a lot of the hair out of that area as well now. It just looks a little bit cleaner, and then when we go to do the skin touch up, this area here I'll be able to get a much more even colour on it when I've not got any of these kind of hairs in front of. I'll just take it a little bit, this one here. But as with everything in Photoshop, you can overdo this big style, and do it too much, you lose texture, pixels, colour, and it'll look a mess. So we'll just go under there. I think that'll be fine. What happens is you think, that's it, I've done it fine, looks okay, and then you look at a different part of the picture and you'll see another hair or something that you want to get rid of. So that's what's happening is we're speaking. You see I'm copying that over. So that looks fine. A lot of the hair's away there. And likewise a lot of the hair on the face is away. So the outside area, if we change to the pen tool, you can either select it from here, the pen tool, or hit P on your keyboard. I'm going to hit P, and there's the pen tool here. You can either click on here, and when you do click, it's the top one you want. And with the pen tool, what I'm going to do is make a selection round about the hairline. Do it in one or two moves, you don't have to do it in just one all the way around. So we'll start about here, and we'll go up here, and I think I'll actually go inside this a little bit here. Actually, I'll change my mind, I'm not. Oops, there is it. Another thing about pen tools, you just have to gently touch anywhere and it makes a connection. So we'll go to here, go to here, go to here, and I'm staying just outside the hairline. And you can go back if you're not quite happy with where your pen has put down its mark. See, I'm trying to stay just outside the hairline, not really want to go in there. And by staying outside it a little bit, what I'm going to do is leave quite a lot of small hairs, and it's going to look just a little bit natural if it has some flyaway here as opposed to zero flyaway here. The rugby is on in the background, and you're probably or possibly hearing the national anthems of England and Ireland, I think it is, it's playing today. So there we go all the way around here, and all these flyaways we're going to try and get rid of. We'll try and do it in one session. Okay, and once you've got them all selected, right click and click on make selection. 2 pixel radius is fine. We're then going to change to the brush tool. I'll do this on a separate layer as well. We'll do the brush tool, so hit B on the keyboard or select a brush from over here. So B, and we're now going to take a sample of paint. So if you hold the Alt key down and just click near to where you're going to paint, and that will change it up. We want a nice soft brush and probably have a flow about 70%, or we'll be painting. So now we've got that, we've got the paint colour right, we've got the flow right, and we're just going to paint into our selection. And the good thing about having a selection is I can't paint outside of it, it'll only let me paint inside, and that means I'm not going to paint onto her skin or anything like that, just inside here. Now the transitions, I can see them from here, are going to be needing a little bit of attention, but that's fine. As if this was a patterned background or a coloured, you know, like a trellis fence or something like that, you'd be stuck, or if it were flowers or something like that, you'd be stuck. Because this is just a plain background, get away with it here. So I've painted over there, so I'm now going to hit Control and D to deselect, and you can see there's bits of paint here that are needing touched up a bit. So we'll drop the flow back down now at 10-15% is usually where I go. Again, sample for where you're going to paint, and we've got a nice soft brush, and we'll just paint over these areas where there's been a bit of transition, just a little bits at a time. Again, pressure sensitive tablet here, so I'm barely touching the tablet, and we're just painting over. Again, we sample from there and just keep sampling and moving, and try not to go too near to subject. And if we go right in here, you'll see there's a little bit here that's, it's just more flyaways here. And we can, you know, we can smaller brush and maybe just paint some of them out if we think we'd rather be without them. Now painting, it's because I've only got a 10% flow, but that's fine. Down here you'll see I'll need to do a little bit more touching up, and you know what, because it's skin in an area that's not really too important, we'll just paint over that. And we'll just paint over these little bits. Just watch when you're painting skin about shadows and stuff like that, and then we'll paint out there. That gets rid of them. And if you look around, because we left some, it looks quite natural. And there you go, that's how you get rid of flyaway hairs in Photoshop. Just get rid of some of these. Areas of skin that are, you know, it doesn't really matter what that looks like, but we're going to fix the skin up in another episode. And there you go, that's how to get rid of hair in Photoshop. And this is where we started. I'll pull it down a little bit. This is where we started, and this is where we're at now. So much cleaner and a better start to your image. I might get rid of this one here in the next episode as well. There you go, that's how you get rid of hair in Photoshop. Thanks for watching.